Alrighty. Hey everybody, welcome to a special episode of the Geek Out Show. I am here with my co-host
Gil,
Gil.
what's going on?
Gil, what's up, buddy? And we are here with a special guest today, Juan Carros. Is that how we say it? Juan
Yeah,
Carros.
better than most.
All right. Uh, he owns the comic book shop Comic and Figure Addicts in Union City, California. And we're gonna do a little interview with him today, and get some details about owning a comic shop and how long he's been doing it. Get to learn a little bit about him, and this might be informative if a lot of people might want to open up their own shop one day, or consider it. Maybe you can talk them out of it, or 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 give them some pointers to maybe move them a step
Not,
further in their
Definitely
dream.
not as luxurious as most people think it is, though.
Yeah,
Tell you.
yeah, I've heard. Hey Gil, you wanna get this interview started, brother?
Yeah, so we'll start off.
Cool.
Juan, obviously, me and you know each other a little bit, but go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Like what about the store, or just me in general? Like,
Just you in general. Well, how about you in general? And then you could go into the store, like maybe like things that you collect, things that interest you, Marvel, DC, Image, indie comics.
okay.
Just a brief little background on you.
Well, I mean, I've always been into comics and toys and all that stuff. Like my dad used to love reading Conan comics, so he would always go to the comic store and pick those up. So obviously, I'd go with him and pick stuff up. And of course, toys I never grew out of. Just growing up in the '80s, which is probably the best era of toys and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah,
Here I
I
am,
agree
30,
with you there.
and just haven't outgrown any of that stuff.
Yeah, who wants to grow up anyways? Am I right?
Exactly.
It's all bills and
So,
responsibility.
I mean, we lived in San Francisco, then we moved out here to Union City in like about 1985. Only child, so pretty spoiled because
Sweet.
whatever I
Oh,
was,
nice,
you know,
nice.
pretty much anything I wanted. If I complained about it enough, I could probably get it. You know, um, that just like I said, comic books got me into drawing. My first degree that I got was illustration. I wanted to be a comic artist.
Oh,
Uh,
sweet.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah,
only reason
I
to go
got
with
my I'm sorry to cut you off. I got my degree in graphic arts as well. So
oh nice.
yeah, we got something in common, man. Sweet.
Yeah. Like Todd McFarlane was my favorite artist growing up. Jim Lee, of course.
Nice. Yeah.
Uh,
Ooh, good pulls.
and then after that, I just got into coloring more. I loved coloring a lot more than drawing. I got lazy about drawing and just I would love coloring a lot more, with markers and all that. Never got into the digital stuff.
How are you with the Copics?
You know what? Copics started coming out like towards me, not necessarily getting out of drawing, just not having time to. I used to use a lot more Prismacolors and like color pencils and stuff like that, watercolors.
Oh,
Sweet.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I went, I got that, as my final project. I did my own comic book, wrote it, illustrated, colored it, inked it, everything.
Holy shit.
Being, knowing the aspect of comics and toys going together, I even customized toys to like fit some of the figures with the packaging. I went all out. Um,
Nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. In a sense, it kind of burnt me out too, and I don't know. I got into my own head about like, hey, can I really do this? And then at that time, I was dating this girl who wanted to become a preschool teacher, and my mom had just found a second career as a preschool teacher. And I said, screw it, let me try this, see if I like it. And I got into that. And I got into the teaching aspect and all that. And before I opened the store, I was a paraeducator over in San Lorenzo, which is just a fancy word for kind of like a glorified tutor. Um,
Yeah.
I'm bilingual. My parents are from Peru, so I speak Spanish and English. So
Nice.
I would take kids that aren't at their age level or grade level of speaking English or reading English, and take them out of their normal classes and an hour or two a day. I would just go over whatever they needed work with and stuff like that, kind of like a one-on-one basis, and hopefully catch them up to the grade level that they were in.
Oh, nice, man. So you're doing
That's cool.
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, and then the fucking economy crashed, and all that shit went to hell. And I had only been doing that for like about a year and a half and stuff. And they started cutting my hours and stuff like that. So I started getting I think I started working at Toys R Us at that time, part time too, and
And that's why the kids nowadays aren't as smart as we were back in the day. I'm just
well,
kidding.
that's the thing. Being into this nerd culture and all that, the kids always were more attracted to me than any of the other teachers, because I would walk in there with a green shirt. I had my backpack that was a Star Wars backpack, and kids be like, "Oh shit!" Like, he's into this stuff. He knows Spider-Man. He knows, like, as
They
opposed to
gravitate towards you.
that don't. Yeah, they don't know any of this stuff. So, like, immediately, already, without saying a word or doing a damn thing, already found a bond with them that their teachers that they've had all semester didn't have with them.
Yeah, you're
That's
like a
cool.
big kid to them.
Right. So kids would come up to me at lunch and be like, "Hey, did you watch Rebels? Or did you watch this? Or did you watch the new movie?" And be like, "Yeah, I'm talking to them while I'm eating lunch, and, like I said, bonding with them on a different level." It wasn't they for the most part didn't see me as like a grown up teacher,
You were the
stuff.
cool teacher.
Yeah, I was more like like a big brother, like.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, that's a perfect term for it.
So it helped, and like they would listen to me a lot better and stuff like that than sometimes the normal teachers, or like the TAs, or yard duties and stuff like that.
That's sweet, man.
That's cool. You were just able to bond with them on a whole nother level.
Right,
That's
right.
cool.
And like I said, the economy crashed. They started cutting my hours. Got a part-time job. And I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to own a store and stuff like that. I used to go to this comic store in Dublin, called Comic Ink, and I made friends with the owner there, and he would talk to me about stuff. I would give him pointers, and he would teach me like how he does his orders and stuff like that, and just bounce ideas. He was an older guy than I was. He was probably in his late 50s, and at that time I was like in my early 20s. So it's nice having a different perspective. Because older gen
Always.
aren't necessarily more attuned with new stuff going on, and he was never one to be like on message boards and stuff like that, and hearing what the hype was about a new figure or a new comic and stuff like that. So I would bring that to the table and be like, well, a lot of people are excited about this comic or about this, so you need to up your orders for this, or what if you spin this promotion like this, and blah blah blah. And we just became friends like that and stuff like that. And I would go there on the summers and just hang out with him and just talk business and stuff like that. And eventually he ended up selling the store to someone else. And like I said, it just was always in the back of my mind, once I retire or something like that, I'll open the store. And economy crashed and stuff, and I'm like, screw it, why not now? Why do I have to wait like another 20 or 30 years? I'll do it now, while I can. And here we are 6 years later. I opened the doors, what was it, November 5th, 2011. Yeah, 2011. And here we are. We just had our 6-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations, man. Sweet.
Thanks.
6 years.
Yes.
Nice, man. That's a good bio. I feel like I know you are already. I feel like we're good friends now.
Yeah, he's gone way deeper than any other interview that we've had.
Any other? Yeah, I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about like, is there anywhere they can find your comic book or anything like that?
Oh, my comic book?
Yeah.
There's only 2 copies.
Oh,
One
that's
of
a
them-
low print run right there.
Yeah, for real.
I have all the original art, and I have 1 copy. And then my teacher kept 1 copy because she wanted to show it off. So when I was taking my classes, the final semester that I was there, one of the battles I had to fight was the teacher that I had throughout most of my courses. She didn't think that comic books were art.
What?
She was
bullshit.
those, nose up in the air, unless it's a Picasso and shit like that. It's not art,
Wow.
At a painting on the wall, it's
One of
not.
those.
So it was a struggle because like I'm like, yeah, okay, that's art, but so is this, give us credit. Um, so I had her for like maybe about 6 or 7 semesters because she was like the only teacher that was teaching all those classes, and if I wanted the degree, I had to go through her. And it was a struggle because she would be like, "Oh, your stuff is too cartoony, and your stuff is too this and too that, and blah blah blah." And
Wow.
funny because we'd be sitting there trying to, she's like, "Oh, well, you have to do this still life drawing," and I would sit there and draw the apple that's on the goddamn table, and it's too cartoony. But if I like drew an apple, just pulled one out of my ass, oh, see, now you're drawing better, and blah. I'm like, dude,
That looks
it's
like
all
trash.
older, right? And it wasn't until she took a flight somewhere, and I think it was like Spider-Man 2, and she was like, "Oh, I saw this Spider-Man movie, and I liked it a lot, and I'm like, I got you, bitch. I got you. So I got you. I got my foot in the door. Now I just need to kind of just push myself in. And I'm like, all right, if there's one artist out there that this person can relate to, and if she says this is an art, then fuck her. There's no winning her over. And that was Alex Ross. I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah.
if she can't appreciate Alex Ross as legitimate fucking art, then fuck it. I can't win. So I took
Yeah.
her like Kingdom Come, and I think I took her like Earth X and Marvels, and I'm like, look, take this, look over them, and get back to me. She came back the next week, the Monday after the weekend, and she was in love with it. She's like, oh my god, I didn't know that comic books could have this type of art. I'm like,
Nice.
just like any other art, different mediums, and artists use different mediums to do it. She's
Yeah.
like, I want to learn more about this. So then it ended up being that like every Friday, she would have me do like a little presentation on different comic book artists. So
Oh,
like
that's cool.
Oh shit.
I would do like Jim Lee next week, like Frank Cho, Hughes. I
Oh,
always
she
had,
lets you do Frank Cho
yeah. So like,
with the titties.
Ass and titties hanging out.
so I would always have comic books in my backpack just for references and just to read. So, I'd be like, all right, just pull a random comic out of my backpack, be like, all right, I'll do it on this. And I've always been, the type of fan that like, if I really like an artist, I'll learn most things about them, like their
Yeah.
upcoming, like what they did and stuff like that. So it came natural, just, I'd quickly
To-
like a couple of things and be like, all right, I could do a 10-minute presentation on Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane now. So just, and it helped because she finally did it. And like I said, when I did my comic book originally, we were supposed to all do children's storybooks. That was the final project for the final semester to graduate. You had to do a children's storybook, but she allowed me and my other friend who was also into comic books. So like, you guys can do your own comic book if you want. You don't have to do a children's storybook. So that's why I did the comic book.
What type of art style did you use for the comic, if you don't mind me asking?
What do you mean? What kind of art style?
Like, did you end up going like Alex Ross style, or did you end up going?
I did all.
Because I was like kind of interested in that. I was like, wait, what type of style did you do?
No, I can do paintings, but I'm not a great painter. I'll do it for like big widespread shots that take up too much time with marker, or would like run out 3 markers. So I would use paint for that, mostly like for backgrounds and stuff like that, but not for like the smaller things and stuff like that. I've always been pencil and marker.
Okay, gotcha.
Sweet. All right. So let's get into the comic book shop aspect of your life.
Right.
So you've been open for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
What did you start? Like, how did you start your journey to owning your own comic book shop?
Well, like I said, I've always collected and stuff. Back in the day in the '90s when the X-Men figures were all coming out and by Toy Biz and all that, I remember
Okay.
how fucking disappointed I would be with some of the figures after I opened them. I'd be like,
Hmm.
God damn, this fucking figure was like so much better in the packaging that I just became a mint on card collector. I'm
Yeah.
like, and if I really, really, got the need to, then I would open it, and then I would look for a second one to keep, the collection mint on card. Um, and as everybody knows, this shit's pricey as hell, and you can go broke. Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
so at that time when those figures were coming in, I was 10, 12 years old. So, I mean, I had an allowance and like I said, only child, my dad was, like I said, always into this hobby. So he had no problem on Saturday and Sundays. On his days off, we would go toy hunting. He would drive me around like the Bay Area to all the stores looking for, Party Angela and the Malabolia from Spawn and all that stuff. Um,
Nice.
he would buy them for me when he could afford them and stuff like that. My mom, she liked them, but she, was also the more strict one of like, you need to grow out of the phase. But um, she would always also encourage it. Like she bought me my first real collectible. If you guys ever watch Seinfeld, there's a Superman statue in the background that's done by Randy Bowen.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
love Bowen.
That was my first like adult collectible. I think I
Oh
was like
Oh,
sweet.
nice.
18 years old.
Bowen at that age.
And if you remember in like comic books, there used to be like American Comics, which was a catalog that you could order. And I used to order from there. And for my birthday, my mom's like, all right, you can pick out anything that you want. I'll buy it for you. So I picked out a couple of things. And, since she was buying it, I'm like, all right, these are like the 5, 6 things that I want. And she really liked the Superman statue. And at that time was like $125, which, back then,
Nice.
like saying like maybe about like $400 or $500 now. And she's like, "You really want it because I like this one. And if you like it, I'll buy it for you." And she ended up buying it. So that was like my first adult collectible. So even though she was more of the strict parent and the more like, "Oh, you need to grow out of it," parent, she did, uh,
Buy your first Bowen statue.
not just that,
She
but she
came
would
around.
buy me for stuff. I mean, even as an adult, like 2, 3 years ago, she's like, "Oh, I happened to be at the mall and there was a toy store and I saw this 3-pack with Boba Fett and I know you like Boba Fett," and she just randomly shows up with it and just gives it to me. So
Nice.
you
Nice.
know,
Yeah, that's sweet. I
even
love Mama.
So
strict
she
one,
she supports you with it.
yeah, she still supported with me and she still bought me stuff and things like that. So having this hobby be as expensive as it is, I got into later on when I got a job and all that. Um, I would buy doubles, and if I could sell or trade the other one for something that I needed, something that I wanted, or sell it so it pays off mine. Hey, I'm all for it, and just kind of started from that. And I would start hoarding stuff and things like that. Once I met Lenny over at Comic King, and I started going to conventions and toy shows. Um, Again, I would just buy exclusives and stuff like that and sell them and flip them, and little by little, just to pay off my stuff. And um, I started doing toy shows, and I had an eBay store where I sold just loose figures, and that was called Action Figure Addicts. So that's where
Oh, nice.
the name started off from there. And I don't know why addicts. It just kind of stuck. It's just something that just kind of jumped in my head, because it's not like I drink or do or smoke or do any of that stuff.
The plastic crack, bro.
Comics and toys, so it just went from there. Um, and then, like I said, I have a huge collection, and I just amass stuff, and I just hoarded stuff. Uh,
So is that was that basically your inventory for your shop?
my stuff that I bought, no, but like I said, I always bought doubles and triples of stuff, knowing that like Deadpool, like the Marvel Legend Deadpool, the Series 6 Deadpool. I think
Yeah.
at one point I had like 10 or 12 of them, just because I knew
What? Holy shit.
it was always going to be a popular figure, and I always put them away. Dude, at one time I was going to like every Rite Aid in the Bay Area, and at one point I had like 20 Dragon Mans. and I was selling those on eBay for like
Whoa.
$50 each, and I was getting them at Rite Aid for like about $15 each, and I was happy as shit.
Yeah.
Turning a $15 figure to 150, and now it's like shit. I should have saved a couple of those, because now what? They're like $300-400.
Each, yep. Minimum
Yeah.
card.
Wow. Like that's kind of what I'm kind of do now, kind of. Not really. I'm more like if I see like some on clearance or something, I'll buy it, or I'll buy like two of a figure, one to keep, one to flip.
Oh yeah,
Um,
clearance aisles. I love clearance aisles.
yeah, and then like Black Friday, like I got a bunch of stuff from GameStop and Amazon and stuff like that. So like it's kind of like what I'm doing now. But so what you did was you took all your basically doubles and stuff that wasn't in your collection, and is that what you used to, like, I guess, for your inventory when you first opened, or did
Uh,
you like?
I'd say at least 20-30% of it came from my inventory that I had that I was selling on the side.
Hmm.
Uh, like maybe the first, well, I'd say like maybe a year or 2 years before I opened, I just started buying collections.
Okay.
Oh,
when
really?
I
Holy
made
shit.
up my mind that this was going to be my goal, I was going to open the store. I got on Craigslist, I got on the Facebook groups, and I would just start buying collections and just start hoarding it. Same thing with like fixtures. New Park Toys R Us closed. I went and bought fixtures. Borders closed. I bought fixtures, and I just kept hoarding and hoarding and throwing that all in the garage. Until one day the garage was full, and I'm like, all right, I think it's time. And I just started looking for a place.
Nice. Okay. So you got your place. Was it the place you're at now, or did you move?
It was like maybe 2-3 blocks from where I am now. It was about 950 square feet. It was next to a coffee shop. The coffee shop had been there for like about 10 years. I knew the owner really well, and I was friends with him, and he catered to college kids. Down the street
Perfect.
was an elementary school and a middle school, but those kids don't have money. So I knew
Yeah.
that they weren't going to be anything to me, but I knew the college kids, are the ones that would be more interested in my store, because they're the ones
Yeah.
that are all of this. People ask me all the time, well, what's your demographic? I'm like, honestly, my demographic is like 18 to like 50-year-old males. That's
Adult
my,
collectors.
you know, they're like, oh, you
Yeah.
live by school, you must be making all that money. I'm like, middle school, elementary schools have no money. They
Yeah, it's not
here.
like back in the
If
day where you had like a quarter and you go in the comic shop and
If high school, maybe I'd give you a high school. A high school, sure. Like because when I went to Logan, there used to be a comic store behind Logan, and I wouldn't eat lunch on purpose just so I could go to the comic store
I
afterwards.
I do the
yeah.
same shit. I used to do the
I,
same shit.
I'll give you high school kids, but elementary, no. They'll come in here, they'll look around, and then they'll complain to their parents until the parents bring them in, on the weekend or a special occasion and buy them something.
Yeah, I do that now with the money my wife gives me. I don't eat lunch and I'm kidding. Um okay, so you're there's a young one. He just, fulfilled his dream of opening up his own comic book store.
Right.
Where do you go from there, man?
Where do I
What's
go
the
from?
yeah, what's the journey like? Is it hard to open up a comic shop? Do you have like a pointer for maybe someone like Gil who wants to one day open up a comic shop? And what were your, like, any ups and downs that you may have had during these 6 years? You don't have to tell me all of it, but
Um, I mean, it's honestly it's a term by term basis. It all depends on your area. I'm lucky enough where I'm in an area where I've got what, maybe a good 15, 20, well, yeah, maybe about 15-mile radius where I don't have any competition. Uh,
okay.
and if you ask Gil, he's probably been to all these other stores, and no other store in this area have the toys that I do. They might
They
Yeah.
have
do not. I can attest to that. They do not.
here's the thing is I can't compete with other comic stores because we're all gonna have the same shit on Wednesday. You know,
Yeah,
indie books might not be because I don't have that customer basis. They might have that customer basis. Wednesday afternoon, we're all gonna have the same shit on the rack. Our back issues are gonna be different. Our high end books are gonna be different. But other than
yeah,
that, a week it's all gonna be the same. So you got to stand out. So that's why I did the action figures because, like I said, to me, action figures and the comics always went hand in hand. Like I read a comic book, then I would want to go play with my Spider-Man figure, Doc Ock, and reenact what I
Exactly.
little kid or make up my own damn stories. So that's why that's what stood me out. People ask me, well, what's your bestseller? I'm like, well, it depends. I mean, bulk, quantity wise, I sell hundreds of comics in a month. But what makes me more money is toys. Your average comic is $2-3. Your average toy is 25. I've got to sell like 5 or 6 comics to equal one toy. When a Marvel Legend wave hits, people are coming taking them by the cases.
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
odd toy,
Yeah.
that's $250 right there. It's going to take a lot of comics to catch up to that.
yeah. Definitely, definitely.
So it would all be just location, just scoping out, knowing what people want, keeping your ear to the ground, and seeing. I joined all these groups and all that just to keep fresh on new. What do people want? What are people looking for? And there's stuff that I don't carry that I could probably carry, but that's the other thing too. You can't have everything.
Yeah,
Uh, you're gonna run out of room, which is something that I've done already. I'm already looking. I still got 2 years on this lease, and I'm already looking for a new place in a bigger spot. Um, you can't have everything, and you're gonna run out of money too. Like if you keep spending and spending and spending on merchandise, um, you're gonna dig yourself eventually into a hole that you can't get out of. So you know, you just have to be level headed and just be like, hey, I can't have everything. I can't do everything and just find a niche that works. And luckily, when we opened our doors, like I said, being next to that coffee shop with college kids, we never had a month where we were in the negative. We from day one we're breaking even. For about the first year and a half, we were breaking even, and I was happy as shit breaking even because I'm like, cool,
yeah.
as
As
long
long
as
as you can maintain and pay your bills, that's all that matters, right?
yeah. So I was happy. Was it like a year and a half that 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 bubble just kind of popped and people started getting to know more about us and blah 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 and word of mouth and doing more shows and putting advertisement out there. Um, Free comic book day. There's people that I only see once a year for free comic book day, but that's like best days that we have, and it gets butts into comic book stores.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, every year I'm a I draw like you. So every year I draw at my local. It's fun.
Nice, yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
try to get local artists here. I'm like, dude, you guys want to set up a table outside, sell your stuff? That's great. I'll help you guys out. Your fans will come out here and hopefully buy something, so it all works out for everybody.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hate the. I don't hate them, but the moms that bring their kids to come get the free comics and then they never plan on bringing them back. You know what I mean? But that kid, hopefully maybe like 1 out of 20 kids is like, you know what? I really like this, mom. Can I start buying comic books? And that's who you want.
Right, yeah. And I mean, and there's the parents that'll support it and do it. It's one thing when I was teaching, I always tell parents, I'm like, look, get them to see. You might not like it. You might think that comics are like a waste of time or whatever, or kids stuff, but at least they're fucking reading.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if, like I said, when I was doing the teaching and I was trying to get kids to their age level, I'm like, at least they're fucking reading something in English. And, little by little, you can't just be like, here's Macbeth, start reading it, understand it. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
start them, first hook them with something that they like. And then little by little start,
yeah,
moving them towards something that's, different, but at least try to hook them and win them over with something that they might like with a comic book or something. Whether
Yeah.
it's
I totally agree with that.
so, what was your other questions? I completely forgot what the other question.
Oh, nah, we're kind of really just chopping it up right now. So you have comic book shop, comics and coffee. For one, that sounds awesome because like you go get your comic books and you head over to
Hey,
the coffee shop.
when I moved into this new location 2 years ago, uh, first I wanted to make sure that even though it was like about 2 blocks away, that I didn't lose any customers, and that I could sustain a place that was twice as big. But eventually, I wanted to open a comic slash coffee shop.
Oh, sweet. That would have been
But
sweet.
then a tutorial place moved in next door and took up the empty spot, so I couldn't do that anymore.
Oh man. You know, I can get rid of them for you if you'd like. You
Hey,
just let me know. We'll talk about it off the podcast.
no,
Hey, so
uh,
one, I just wanted to ask, what's like not technically like rarest or what's one of the rarest items that have came into the shop?
well, I mean, I got my Amazing Fantasy 15 through the store.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that I maybe 2-3 years ago I bought this giant collection that has a whole bunch of first appearance stuff and got it for a really good price, and that was just private stuff that never made it out to the sales floor.
Oh no,
yeah.
it ended up becoming your collection.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
What's some of
that's
the thing? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
nah. I was just more a little bit more curious. Like, I noticed that because I tried to do something similar. I don't have a comic shop, but I tried just putting an ad on Craigslist to buy collections because I went to a comic shop and he was like, "Yeah, I just got a large collection. You want to dig through it?" And I'm digging through it. I'm like, "Man, how much did you pay?" He paid like $200, and he got like first appearance of Deadpool, first this, first that. And I'm just like, for only $200, like there's a person. I understand you guys, have to make money off of it, but I don't know. I just feel like is it I don't know, is it just they're that desperate that they're willing to let it go for that cheap, or they just
Um,
don't know what they have?
it all depends. And then here's my follow-up question to your story is, how long ago was that?
That this was actually recent.
Recent?
A couple
After
months ago.
the Deadpool movie, and I'm just like,
Really?
really? Yeah, yeah. I said the
I,
same thing. I was so boggled. I was like, what?
I mean, it all depends. Honestly, in this day and age now, it's a
Hmm.
lot harder because everybody now is more aware that all this shit is valuable and there's someone that wants it.
Yeah,
The 100% of the time when someone comes into the store to sell something, they usually go, "Well, I already looked it up on eBay."
hmm. Oh
Um,
God, I hate that.
so with stuff like eBay and all that, it makes it for a lack of a better term, it makes it harder for people to screw over other people
Yeah.
because
Well, not that you're trying to screw them over. I'm
no,
not
no,
saying
no.
that. Yeah.
But like people are more self-aware, I guess, of what value is. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'll have someone come in with some random ass book and be like, "Well, I googled it or I eBayed it, and on eBay it's going for like $50." I'm like, "All right, well, did you do a sold listings or did
Yeah.
you?" Well, I don't know what sold listings. I'm like, "Well, come here," and I'll pull them to the computer and I'll put it in and I'll be like, "Look, if you click here, sold listings, it shows you what it sold for the last 3 months. Look, the highest it sold was $10. The lowest was like $2. I could put it on eBay for $1,000. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell it for $1,000."
Exactly.
Yeah. I like to tell people, I can wipe my ass and put that napkin on eBay for $100. No one's gonna fucking buy it.
Right? Doesn't mean go into every store and be like, "I'll give it to you for $50." You're getting a deal.
Yeah. You're getting a deal on my shit. All right.
So now in the day of age of like the internet and all that, more and more people come in here with a high price already set in mind, you
Yeah.
know, and other people don't have the mentality of business. This another thing that happens all the time is they'll come in and be like, "Hey, this book sells for $100. all day. And I'm like, all right, yeah, it does. You're right. It sells for $100 all day. How much do you want for it? $100.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, you do realize we're a business. I can't give you $100 if I'm going to sell it for $100. You know, generally, if it sells for $100 on eBay, I'll sell it for like about maybe 85, $90. All right, well then I'll take that. Again, man, I can't
Yeah.
give you the
You
amount.
got to make your money, man. You got to
You're
make your
like,
money.
I'm selling it for that price. That doesn't mean I'm buying it at that price.
Oh, well then what do you know, if you're going to sell it for $90, what can you give me? I'm like, I could give you like maybe 30, $40, you know, cash. I could maybe do 40, 50 store credit or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, well then no, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, well go ahead and sell it yourself. And, you know, half the time they'll come back like a week or two later. Man, this shit's so hard to sell, man. Just, you know, give me the $30.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of leads me into like, you know, owning a comic book shop ain't, you know, everything everyone thinks it's going to be. There's a lot of legwork. There's a lot of, you know, trial and error and just a lot of bullshit that comes along with it. Yeah, like you're doing what you love. You're doing, you know, you have your dream of owning a shop, but there's
there's I wouldn't say there's a ton of trouble or lot, you know, honestly, and not to sound like a dick, but usually the most trouble that I have or the most problems I have is with people.
Yeah.
With people and their attitudes. And, you know, they'll come in and they'll think that, you know, they're deserving of something. And I'm like, I'm the type of attitude that if I know you and we're cool, yeah, you chop it up. We're all laughing. But usually I'm just kind of like a serious tone type of person.
Yeah.
And some people it could, you know, rub the wrong way, you know. I'm very sarcastic sometimes. So people will be like, how much is this? And I'll be like, oh, the price tag's right on the corner. And some people get butthurt because I didn't give them the price and said I make them look stupid, I guess, in their mind or something.
Yeah.
But it's people. And, you know, when I opened the store, I was very proud of my like Yelp review and all that because, you know, it was like, oh yeah, great customer service, this, that. And whenever I would get somewhat of a bad Yelp review, it would like break my heart. Like it would bug me about it. But it ended up getting more and more and more and more petty. Like the reason people would leave me bad Yelp reviews would be like even more petty. Like, oh, I went in there and, you know, I wanted to buy this Funko Pop and the box was a little damaged and I asked for a discount and he said no. So I'm going to give him 2 stars. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, really? Like, you're giving me 2 stars because I didn't give you a discount because of slight box damage? I'm like, come on now. Like, and it's more often than not, those type of people will leave you a bad Yelp review as opposed to, you know, the 10,000 people prior to them that, you know, you help and do a perfect, you know, job helping them and getting them exactly what they want. Most of the time when you piss somebody off, they're going to leave you a Yelp review. But if you help someone, they most likely leave your Yelp review.
Bad news travels way faster than good news, man.
You know, someone that's pissed off is is more likely to speak out about it and leave a review than someone that's happy with, you know, the experience. So
butthurt people.
That I had to learn was just kind of let it go and be like, whatever, fuck it. Like, people are gonna say what they want to say. They're gonna think what they want to think. But you know what? At least walk into my store, look around, and then make up your choice. I've traveled all over this country for shows and conventions, and I always like going into the comic stores. Even now, I look for other comic stores to go in there, and I could give a shit about their Yelp review. I'll go make up my own about it. It's kind of like a movie. I'm like, all right, everybody hates it, but I still kind of want to see it. I'll go make up my own mind about it.
Exactly. You got to.
So probably like my biggest gripe sometimes is the customers, you know, are sometimes, you know, they just get out of pocket sometimes, and just it could be frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, man. It'd be frustrating for anybody. Jeez. I can imagine. Especially when you're just trying to make a living. Gil, you had some more questions?
I mean, we went over most of them, man. They were just, I mean, he's actually ended up answering most of the questions that I actually had with other questions.
Yeah, we didn't even have to like really. We didn't. You didn't need us. We could have just like hit the record button and left.
Yeah, that's honestly what I was gonna say, man. Just hit the record button and let.
Once I start talking, I just won't shut up. So
Oh no, that's all good, man.
Kevin
You're
Smith,
making my job easy.
right.
Kevin Smith over here.
In short,
But yeah, man, that's cool. So what like what's like one of the you go on like a garage sale and flea market hunts ever?
when I have the chance.
What's like one of the like one of your grails that you found on a hunt?
Maybe a couple weeks ago there was a metallic Chase Green Lantern pop that I found $12 at a garage sale.
Oh shit! Nice.
And in the box it goes for like about $500.
Oh shit!
So what I did is I bought a regular one for like about $25 and put the Chase in the box, and now I have a Chase in the box.
Nice. That's sweet. You gotta love it.
Hey, real quick, talking about that, Seth, I forgot to tell you, bro, about one. About you got,
go,
how many of them won? Like 12? Oh, shit.
There you go. Never mind.
I don't know.
Can you hear me? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like the 12 Chase pops that he got, right? There's like 12 Pennywise pops that you got?
Oh, the Pennywise is from yesterday.
Oh, you got 12 of them?
Yeah, so like I ordered some from I have a Funko account, which I usually order all my pops straight from Funko, but I use Diamond sometimes as a backup whenever Funko's out of stock for the moment. So with Pennywise being, the hit movie that it was, Funko ran out of them right away, so I ordered some from Diamond, and I had completely forgot about them until I saw them in the invoice last week. But I guess Diamond got more stock of them in, and they shipped them out to me. And I opened a box, 6 chases instead of 1 out of 6. It was all 6 chases. Open the other one,
wow.
chases, and I'm like, oh wow, I think I need to go play the lottery or something now.
Yeah, I know. No kidding, man. That's cool. That's real cool.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you about that earlier.
It was hard enough for me to find one. I found
what I saw was a lot of the comic stores that ordered from Diamond got a hand. I know Legends got like 4 of them. My friend posted that like in Canada, this comic store had like 12 too. So I don't know what the hell happened that just Diamond got a shit ton of chases for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I went to like 20 Walgreens during Halloween, managed to get one there. And then the second one I got was when Target got all their Funko Pops in, and they were getting chases left and right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I got those two. And then now it's kind of the hype's died down just a little bit. But I mean, geez, man, you got like $300 cases. I don't know what you're selling for, but
well, I mean, yeah, those figures were going for like $100 at one time. Now they're back down to like about 30, 35 ish.
yeah.
Like when the movie was about to come out, they were up there.
Yeah, you should hold on to them until part 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bust them out like, hey, guess who got 2 fresh cases of chases?
Hey, so I got a question. This one that actually didn't get answered. Do you ever run into the problem like, so like yesterday, like when you were getting shipment, do you ever like run into the problem of like, oh, I like this, and you like set it aside? Do you ever run into the problem where you're liking a lot of shit and you just kind of like want to keep some of your inventory?
Yes and no. Honestly, I think that was one of the questions you asked me, or I think one of the ones that you wrote down and asked me, like, what do I collect now? Honestly, right now, I almost collect nothing. I just...
Oh, really?
No, I don't, because you know how you buy something and then you have buyer's remorse maybe a couple weeks later or something like that, and you're kind of stuck with it? I don't have to deal
Yeah.
with that. Technically, everything in the store is what I own until you come and give me your money for it. So I never really have buyer's remorse. So if I really want something, it's there. And if I have buyer's remorse, I just sell it or someone else buys it. Or at first, when I first opened the store, it was a lot harder because cool shit would come in and I'm like, oh shit, I really want that statue. I really want that figure. And like someone would come in and buy it. I'm like, oh, I guess I can't take that home now.
Yeah.
But over time, it just became one of those things that, I just kind of live vicariously. It's in the store. Technically, I own it, but it's just like I said, it's just that it's there, and I'll take some things like Bishojos, like the Marvel, the Kotobukiya Bishojos. That's probably about the only line that I'll usually buy one and bring home for myself. Occasionally, if there's like a comic cover that I like a Frank Cho cover, Adam Hughes or something, I'll keep a copy for myself. Or a Campbell cover, I'll keep it for myself. But like Marvel Legends, since I've opened the store, the only Marvel Legends that I've kept or bought for myself are Comic-Con exclusives.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, yeah, that's probably my biggest purchase for myself for my collection every year is probably Comic-Con.
The box sets.
Yeah, like the Star Wars exclusive, the Legends exclusives. That's probably the biggest time that I take a somewhat considered big chunk home. Is Comic-Con. But like Marvel Legends, which is the line that I have every single figure of up until probably, I want to say, the return of Marvel Legends. Once I opened the store, I just stopped because I'm like, it's there. I can always get it. People are always telling me collections, so I can always get it back. Even if it sells out, eventually I'll track it down somehow,
Yeah.
So it's become one of those things where I don't know. I just don't need to collect anymore because I have the store.
Gotcha.
But I mean, there's every week I'm like, wow, this is really fucking cool. I really like this. Hell, like, if you saw my post on Instagram, I just got my first hot toy the other day.
Wait, you did?
Yeah, that Loki that I posted. That's my
Oh,
first.
yeah. Okay,
That's
I do remember that you posted that.
And I've had a Sideshow account for like about 4 years now, and that's my first hot toy.
Nice.
What? Okay, I thought you've had hot toys because I was like, shit. Probably like when you go home, you have like a whole entire Hall of Armor type of thing set up and shit.
Nope. Nope. That's my first hot toy. I have statues and stuff displayed at the house. All my action figures are in boxes in the shed or in the garage. Statues are about the only thing that I have on display.
Nice.
Yeah, that Loki is a badass hot toy.
And I don't know why. I always saw it and I was like, I really like that. And it was going for like about $400 or $500. I'm like, I don't want to pay that. And then one of my friends that's an artist that lives in LA, he started getting rid of his collection, so he sold a whole bunch of hot toys to me for really cheap. And I'm like, oh, Loki's one of them. I'll take this one home with me.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, that's the kind of the point I want to get to, where I'm just buying people's collections. The closest I've even gotten to that was recently. This guy hit me up. I posted my ad on Craigslist. The guy hits me up saying I have a bunch of vintage toys, and normally I get like a guy brings out a shoebox with like some He-Man or some Transformers, and he wants like $1 a piece for them. This guy brought like 8-9 tubs, G1 Transformers, He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe. Like literally, it was like thousands and thousands of vintage action figures.
Oh wow!
And he wanted like $2,000, and I was like, I ain't got $2,000. I'm a small time guy. No, they're not in package. No, they're all loose and played with, but still decent condition. He really took care of his stuff. Yeah, so I was like, I'll go ahead and I can sell them for you on my eBay, but that's the best I can do. So I've been slowly selling almost all of it. all I have left is all the GI Joe lot and the Transformer lot, and that's because we're trying to get a pretty penny for him, and it's not quite hitting yet. But
yeah, GI Joe right now is kind of dead in the water.
yeah, it sucks. Transformers
Yep.
is kind of just I think we posted a little high.
I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger yet and done a 6-inch line for GI Joe.
That's what I was going to say. They need to do that shit.
That's about
6-inch.
that I can think that's going to revive that franchise, because not even a movie is going to help that out right now.
Yeah,
And, 6-inch Snake Eyes. Whew, that would be awesome.
he did give me for free the original 12 Star Wars figs, the first 12.
Oh, nice. All loose though.
All loose, half complete for most of them. So, but it was cool. I mean, for free, just for payment to kind of help him out. And then he's been giving me like almost half of each lot I sell. So it's a good deal, man. But
yeah, helping each other out, that's nice.
A lot of guys like me and Gil, we want to get to that point where you are, and that's kind of why we just wanted to talk to you tonight and kind of pick your brain and see.
I mean,
kind of see how you did it.
Start off in your garage little by little and then grow it from there.
Yeah. Now, is there any like don'ts? Like I hear some people say, don't order too many books. Keep, do pull list and stuff like that. Is there any don'ts when it comes to opening up your own comic book shop?
Yeah. I mean, you have to know your people. You have to know your customers. Comic books every month. I won't say it's a struggle, but it's work, because every week I have to see like, all right, so this book I ordered 20 copies of and I only sold about 5. Last month I was selling 15. Like, what happened? Like, what's the sudden change? And do I adjust accordingly, or did those extra 10 people not show up this week or this month to pick up that book? And it screws with you, because you order the comic books 3 months in advance. And the hardest part is whenever there's a new #1, or when there's a relaunch, or when fucking Marvel or DC restart their numbering and all that shit. It's the hardest part, because I'm supposed to place an order on a book that I have no clue how hyped people are, because it's not coming in 3 months. And usually I have to order 1, 2, and 3 before 1 even hits the shelf.
Yeah.
So it's all a guessing game, and you just have to be like, well, okay, it's got this artist and this writer now, and people tend to like him. So I used to sell 10, so maybe I'll try 15 and stuff like that. Standing orders help, but at the same time, it's also a headache, because you got people that flake and no show and don't buy the crap that you kind of made an agreement that they were gonna buy.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing. It helps with my numbers, because I go, all right, well, I know that I can sell these amount of copies of Spider-Man, because that's how many how many standing orders I have. So I'm guaranteed this amount as long as they show up. So then, how many more for the shelf. It's always a learning thing, man. I can't sit down and just be like, call it in, because every week or every month for my order with Diamond for the comics, I have to go back through all my invoices and be like, all right, well, how many did I sell? Did it go up? Did I have to do a reorder for this book? Why did I have to do a reorder? Because it was a first appearance, or just there's more people reading it?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff like that goes into it. For comic books, for toys, it's a little easier, but yeah, like you said, over ordering is going to kill you, because it's just going to be stuff that just sits there.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, a newer shop that opened up around me, I find him throwing them for $1 on the table. I'm talking about recent issues. He throws for $1 on the table if they don't sell, because he just wants it gone. He's like, I'd rather get $1 than nothing. So,
right.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks, because you paid more than likely $2-3 for that book or something like that, you know?
It depends on store by store on how much they order, but generally, it's safe to assume that it's at least anywhere between like 30 to 40 to 50% off cover price. So if it's a $4 book, then generally most stores are paying like about $2. So if he's selling it at $1, he's losing out on $1.
Yeah, which is better than losing out on 2, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, if it's like 3 or 4 books, fine. I'm losing $5-6. But if it's 100 books, then that's when you start getting in trouble and it starts hurting the pocket.
Yeah, and hopefully they're coming in for that one book and buying an action figure or a back issue or a key issue that they've been wanting. So
right, and quite honestly, one of the pieces of advice that Lenny gave me that I took to heart and till this day it's something that I still preach. Ironically, a comic store cannot survive just selling comics.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to have toys, you have to have cards or games or something. If you're strictly just comic books, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. I find I have my loyal that I go to because that's who I started off with, got my pool list. And I was like, he always treated me fair, treated me right. So, and held books for me. Like, even if a book shot up to a ridiculous price, he would still give me cover price on it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it's on your pull list and, I pulled it for you, it's cover price. I mean, a lot of my cover price the first week of, unless it's like a 1 out of 25 or 1 out of 50 or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I got Gil getting me variants from your store.
Are you the one that picks up that Supergirl for?
Yeah. That art germ is just nasty. He's another cover artist that's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I love him. I love his art.
I think he has a Thor, a Lady Thor issue coming out.
Like issue, I forgot. It's like 1 or 2 issues from now. Yeah, they just released the art for that this week.
Yeah, hey Gil, I'm gonna need that.
Did you see his new animated outfit?
No, I didn't see that one.
They just announced that, I think either yesterday or today. It's one of his Supergirl covers, but she's wearing the animated series outfit.
Nice. Hey, Gil, put me down for one of those too. So I mean, so it's location, it's you got to have the passion for it. It's location, it's knowing your customers,
knowledge. I mean, that's the other thing is you have to know the stuff. One thing that I've always hated is when I go into a store, and the guy behind the counter, all he knows about the item is how much it costs.
Yeah, it's like he's just in it for the money, and there's no passion there.
Right.
I do like comic shops that have, I don't know if you do, but like a couch or somewhere to sit and just hang out, and kind of like a hangout spot more than just to go in and get your books and get out.
I wanted to, but I ran out of space.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got chairs around. I mean, there's always people hanging out behind the counter with me in chairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I did find that because I went to be honest with you, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, but it's 100% true. Whenever I go anywhere, I've been all over Florida, I always go to the comic book shops. And so I kind of almost been to maybe like 80% of the comic book shops in Florida. And I always find out that just the ones that have, you can sit down, they have a fridge full of sodas. You could, as long as you buy your books, you can sit down and read them and hang out.
Okay.
I really like that. Like, I really like that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I see as a potential problem is the people that sit down and read and don't even buy the comics.
Yes. And that was, one of my locals. I have 4 local comic book shops, which is a lot. I should be happy, but and they're all so different. It's not even funny. But one guy was like, I really don't want to put couches or chairs or this or that because people are coming in. They're reading books. They're hanging out. They're not buying nothing, and it's kind of like a catch-22. Like,
Right.
they're it's bringing in people that are honest customers that are buying your comics from you, sitting down reading it and hanging out with you, and they're buying from you. But then you have those select few that ruins it for the bunch. So.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, it's great because you get to hang out, you get to talk to other people, other customers, and talk about whatever, movie, toys, whatever, and it's great. It built a community and all that. But like you said, it's even without chairs, I have one guy that comes in every so often, and he'll spend like half an hour in the store, and all he does is read 2 or 3 issues and then bounces, and I'm like, really? Come on, you could at least buy one comic.
Yeah, Gil. Jeez.
Yeah, Gil.
So hey, what the hell?
By the door, I have like this bookcase that has like posters and like newsletters, all the freebie stuff that Marvel and DC sends me. Yeah. I have one guy that drives to the store, comes in, grabs whatever free shit there is, and then leaves.
Oh man. Fuck that guy.
That's not me. I don't do that. I grab a free thing, but then I go and I buy shit too.
That's all he ever does, and he's done it since I first opened.
Yeah, it's gotta frustrate you.
And all he does is come in, goes to the free rack, and walks out. And I'm like, all right, in 6 years, you would think that you could at least buy a comic.
Yeah, no shit. Damn. All right. Well, Gil, you have any other questions or?
Nah, man. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we picked your brain dry, man. I appreciate all the information and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime.
Thank you, Juan. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, man. We definitely want to try to get you on for a regular episode. So we'll talk more about that later. But of
course,
yeah, where can people find you? Do you have a website, Facebook?
Our website's under construction, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, all that good stuff.
Okay, and that's under
either Comic and Figure Addicts or CF Addicts.
Okay, you have a Facebook group as well, correct?
No, I don't have a Facebook group. I'm in Facebook group, but I don't have one.
That's probably where I seen you at then. All right, cool. And your shop is located
Union City, California.
All righty. So if you live anywhere around there, go check out Juan. If you live in the Bay Area and then you're getting hyphy, go over to Juan's. Okay. Go over to Juan's and that's all I know from listening to like E40 and stuff.
From like 5.
But yeah, go over to Juan's, man. Check out his shop. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things. I can't wait till I visit California so I can check it out. And yeah, man, once again, I appreciate you and talk to you later.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. And until next week, stay geeked up and geek out.
Hey.